So that's that. Time for my scone. Thank you so much for listening to today's TeaTalk. See you next time. No, don't worry, there's nothing wrong. I'm simply demonstrating today's device of the day, which is Hysteron Proteron. Hysteron Proteron comes from the Greek for later and earlier. So with Hysteron Proteron, we put things the wrong way round. What should come before comes after. What should comes after comes before. So instead of having our cake and eating it, we eat our cake and have it. Instead of it raining cats and dogs, it's raining dogs and cats. It's a disruption, and because it's unusual, it grabs attention. Much of the time, like with malapropism, it happens accidentally, like the tired parent who, not thinking straight, says, "Get to school and finish your breakfast," or "Put on your shoes and socks." Or the lover who's a bit emotional, "Miss you already." Or maybe someone who has a strange worldview or who confuses cause and effect. I eat a lot of scones because I've got a very big body to fill. Hysteron Proteron reaches out, grabs us by the neck, pulls us in and demands our attention. There's a famous saying in communication, dog bites man, that's not news. Man bites dog, that is. Our instinctive brains are highly tuned into the unusual. It's caveman instincts. So if we want people's attention, deliberately muddling things up can prove very effective. Boris Johnson did this throughout his career, editing a speech after he'd started delivering it, checking with his officials whether he could say something live on television after he'd said it, saying a joke's punchline before the setup. It meant you couldn't ignore him. For me and TeaTalk, there were two moments of particular interest in the 2019 general election. At one point in the campaign, he released a walk and talk video where, chatting to camera, he made a cup of tea, putting the milk into his tea before removing the tea bag. Uproar was instant. Who does this? Barbarian, Philistine. But the video got more than 10 million views. It was the most watched video of the whole election campaign, and notwithstanding the tea incident, he did come across as affable. In another film, he ate a jam scone and pondered whether or not you put the jam on first or the cream. Now, this is an issue people have very strong, fixed views on in England. There's an especially strong regional divide between Devon and Cornwall. Again, social media went crazy debating which goes first, jam or cream. I remember the video was the most watched video on the BBC News website. And by the way, the correct answer is cream. There was probably more debate in the 2019 election about how to make a cup of tea, prepare a jam scone, than there was about Boris Johnson's policies on funding schools, hospitals, climate change or Brexit, which was almost certainly helpful for him, less helpful for the Labour Party. So Hysteron Proteron can prove a useful distraction. It's not for everyone. It is a bit bonkers, a bit subversive, a bit disruptive, as are some prime ministers. But if you do want to grab attention, you can have fun with it. If you're a copywriter, you could craft an advertising campaign for English breakfast tea from Hysteron Proteron. Drink up, wake up. If you're an after-dinner speaker, you could play with Hysteron Proteron, so not starting with ladies and gentlemen. You might say gentlemen as ladies, as TeaTalk friend Mitchell Barak does. Or if you walk up to applause, you might say, "Thank you so much, I love going out on a high, so there's nothing more for me to say, but thank you and good night." Or you might disrupt the language of afternoon tea. Instead of saying you want tea white, 2 sugars, why not say, "Can I have 2 sugars with milk and tea, please?" Or you might disrupt the rules of language. You know how in 2-part lists, we normally put the word with most syllables last. Tea and biscuits, milk and honey, bread and butter. Perhaps we might jumble them around. So time for biscuits and tea, honey and milk, butter and bread. It's a bit bonkers, a bit subversive, but so's Boris Johnson, and it didn't do him any harm. Might have done the country some harm. But anyway, welcome to today's TeaTalk. It's great to see you again. Huh? What's going on? Hysteron Proteron. And now it is time for my scone.